Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Sai and I'm thinking about teaching anywhere from 4th to 8th grade. Um, Obviously that's like a big window, so I'm still thinking about that and I'm not sure, but somewhere in between those two grades, well, multiple grades in between those grades I would be happy with, and I'm still trying to figure out that part. So to get into my presentation, first we have my definition of culturally responsive teaching. And I said that culturally responsive teaching is the mindset and teaching style to have every student in mind while teaching. This means to appreciate every student and where they come from and their backgrounds, and to acknowledge and recognize the strengths they all bring to the classroom. The first module I decided to discuss is Module 3.1, or Module 3 in general, and it's creating a culturally responsive classroom. For creating a culturally responsive classroom, my definition was to create a culturally responsive classroom is to make a setting where everyone feels valued and a safe space for everyone to learn in. This module was one of my favorites to read, so I had quite a few takeaways, but I chose just a few to talk about. My first was creating a sense of belonging. This is using your space to show value in CLD's students' language and culture. I also chose that your environment influences learning. This kind of ties into the first one, but basically just safe and positive learning environments will have a powerful influence in learning. Next up was to have high expectations while still be willing to help students reach these goals. This one was a big one for me because I always felt like I had a lot of high expectations set in school, but there wasn't a lot of help with reaching those goals, so the goals felt unachievable. But having these expectations while still having help would definitely be a great thing to have in a classroom. My last thing was classroom layouts matter. This can encourage or discourage students' interactions. As I was saying with the layout, something that I would like to take into my classroom is grouping desks. This helps to give students the opportunity to work together since they're all in a group and have a place to discuss with their peers while not just being in a line of students, and they have their own group of students that are all working together to work on ideas and have discussions. The next module I chose was Module 5, which is Making Content Meaningful. For this module, the definition I thought of was that this module taught models of effective learning and how to make this content meaningful rather than just content. For this module's takeaway, I chose gradual release of responsibility. This was a big one for me and something that I felt like I really learned a lot about, so I wanted to add it into my presentation. The 4 steps of the gradual release of responsibility is the I do phase, we do phase, you do it together phase, and the you do it alone phase. First, with the I do phase, this phase is focused on instruction and modeling skills and giving concepts that are going to be needed for the lesson. The we do phase is after the initial instruction, and now the responsibility is on the students, and this gives them a chance to use their new knowledge with guided instruction. After that is the you do phase, or the you do it together phase, and this phase is where the teacher takes a step back and allows the students to work in groups and explore the work and concepts together. And finally is the you do it alone phase. This phase is where the student now works independently and demonstrates their learning from the lesson alone. For a model of this takeaway, I chose something like a poster or something that you could hang on the wall. And this is also linking back to Module 3 with warm demand approach. And just having this page on the wall can help remind your expectations of this approach and can help if students are forgetting what they're trying to do for this phase, they can look at the wall and see, oh, we're in the guide phase. That means I'm doing it and my teacher is here to help. Finally, I chose Module 7, which is Formative Feedback and Assessment. For this module, I said my definition was that this module retaught our ideas of what an assignment is. Instead of one big test at the end of a chapter, we use formative assessments, which gradually test student skills, allowing for teachers to see what needs to be discussed more while they're still teaching it. My biggest takeaway of this module was the idea of a formative assessment. These are tests that gauge students' progress during lessons to see where they are towards the end goal. This is to monitor students and to provide feedback to the teacher for what they need to still work on more. Another big takeaway for me was high quality feedback. This corrective feedback is to be as specific as possible, not just a good job or I really liked this assignment. For my model of this module, I chose something we learned or saw in a video that we watched in this module, and that was the idea of having sticky notes for corrective feedback. I really liked this idea because it releases the pressure of having peers having to tell their peers in person what they're saying or having to think of something on the spot. You can really think it over and write something meaningful and corrective onto your sticky note. And this could also be for teachers to give to students, which is something I would like to use. And it's something that you can keep with you so you can look back on it and to see what you needed to work on and to see if your improvements have been made in your new work. That was the end of my presentation. Thank you for watching or listening. I really enjoyed this class and I appreciate all of your time and everyone's effort into this semester. So thank you. I hope you have an amazing day or night.